click start streaming. Now you gotta click go live. Buddy.
All right.
Pow.
Give me a second. All right, and we are live.
Hello, everyone. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Yeah, good. I was asking the audience.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I don't care how you're doing. But no, yeah.
Oh,
How are you doing, audience? And Rob, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Well, I mean, I guess we should talk about funny games, which
Yeah. So the thing is,
I'll
right?
admit.
It's very
Oh
interesting.
yeah.
I was like, Rob just messaged me in the middle of the week, like, "Hey, have you figured out what we're gonna cover yet?" I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, I completely forgot." So I just opened my watch list, and that was the movie that caught my eye the most. It was Funny Games from 1997. I actually did not know there was a remake. We both ended up watching both versions though, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had no clue because I was originally just gonna watch the first one, um, and I had to delay because I hadn't watched both movies yet because I've been extremely busy with like Andor script and everything else. So when I checked your letterbox, I was like, wait, there's a 2007 remake? What the fuck is this? Um, and I mean it's interesting why he did it because apparently it's supposed to be a comment like a well I mean apparently it's supposed to make it more accessible to like American audiences
Yeah.
because he want like
Because
more
people
more
just
people to see it.
have fucking issues
Yeah,
with
people can't
fucking,
read.
yeah, it's insane.
People-
That statement by Bong Joon-ho at the Academy Awards will always remain true. Once you get past the 1 inch barrier of the subtitles, you're gonna experience so many more amazing movies. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, that was the experience I had with Parasite where I originally watched Parasite and I was like, oh wait, this is like a foreign movie, like with like, subtitles and everything and I mean I was already locked in, but my sister was like, oh okay, I'll just turn off my phone and pay attention to it then because like we both heard it was like a really good movie, so
Mm.
we're just like, why not? Um, Funny Games was the exact same because I mean, I had watched the 2007 remake first because Prime was real Amazon Prime, the place where I watched it on was really weird because it had the 1997 poster for it, but it was the 2007 movie. So when I clicked on it, I was just like, wait, what the fuck? I didn't realize halfway through that it was the 2007 remake until I was like, wait, this is way too like high definition and this is like English and everything because I had looked it up in the process and apparently the original was supposed to be in a different language and I was just like, I don't know if it's just me, but I'm noticing that this is like, English. This is the same language that I'm speaking. So I was halfway through the movie already, so I was like, fuck it, I'll just finish the remake. And yeah, for the original, I had to lock in a lot more because, it was a different language. But I mean, it's a very interesting recommendation because I had legit never heard of this movie before.
Yeah.
Um,
It is fairly
I
famous. The director Haneke is also fairly famous. He because of he's a very interesting filmmaker. He usually makes films that are meant to kind of get a reaction from the audience, and this film is quite literally the point. Calling out the audience for the
yeah.
reaction to movies like this, especially home invasion movies. It's very interesting.
Yes, I mean I find it quite interesting because I thought I would have heard of this movie, especially since it is a home invasion movie, and I've gone on record saying that home invasion movies are kind of a dead medium at this point. Like you don't really go to the cinema and you especially don't see many horror movies that cover home invasion. I mean, I guess at certain points throughout a horror movie, they do touch on home invasion, but it's never this the central element of a horror movie. Although I don't think I can call this a horror movie because he himself does not think it is a horror movie. But I'm gonna call it a horror movie because, you know,
I mean,
it's
many
just to make
horrific
things
things happen
simpler.
in this movie, to be fair.
Yeah, so yeah, that the whole point is that it is horrific. Um, so I'll just call it a horror movie. But I think that it's a dying meme, so I'm very surprised that I hadn't heard of this one. I genuinely think horror, home invasion, the as a subgenre just needs to be explored more because I think that the idea of your house being, you know, the most safe place on the planet. I mean, it's where you eat, it's where you sleep, it's where you shit. Um, and the fact that someone can just break into it or like present a threat of danger within, you know, a space that has already been defined universally as something that's safe. I think that's such an untapped, like that's untapped potential right there, and like I'm so happy whenever someone does it properly, because I had very weird expectations going into it because I didn't know it was a home invasion going into it. And when I was watching it, I was like, "Oh, okay, we're doing this," and I was picturing something very similar to. I don't know if you know the movie The Strangers.
Don't
Um,
think
it,
so.
it's like this one movie where how do I describe it? It's this one movie where like this family of strangers come to someone's house and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna fucking kill you," and then I think they end up killing like most of them. There's like a couple sequels of it. It's a really shit movie. But I watched it because it was a home invasion movie. It is not good at horror. It is not good at anything. It is very incompetent. But I thought it was going to be something like that, where you know the two kids were like, "Oh, can't wait for the games tomorrow," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, so that it's just gonna be like a family and everything, and you know that they're just gonna like fuck with the people for now, just like you know, kind of rage bait them a little bit." I before the action actually happened, um, I kind of just thought, man, these kids are just like the biggest rage baiters on earth because I thought
The
they were just gonna
fucking
leave them
eggs
alone
thing
for
was
no reason.
fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I
yeah,
I do,
exactly.
yeah,
But
I love that, and I mean, they just do it because it's fun. Like the entire point, and I love this as an aspect of the movie, is that it's trying to be like, you know, because obviously this movie is like basically criticizing its audience, which most of the time I would not like. I would say it's a little, not even just pretentious. I don't think pretentious is the word. It would just be off-putting. You know what I mean? Just say like, putting yourself as above your audience and calling them out. Um,
yeah,
but I think this movie just kind of does it really well, because there's things like fucking like the fact that you know they try to that the dad you know asks, oh, what's his name, George, yeah, what the dad asks, George
yeah,
asks, oh, why are you why are you doing this, and then he gives an answer, and it's, you know, Paul's crying, and Peter's crying, and Paul was just like making fun of it, and then he gives another answer and another answer, and the entire point
yeah,
is that it doesn't matter. Like an answer won't satisfy. There is no reason to do something like this. And so like people trying to
no,
latch on to like this humanity from the, and you know, it's like it's stupid. So I I don't know. I just love that. Like they're doing it because it's fun. Like when she fucking asks, the mom, what's the mom's name? Anne. When she
I don't.
asks, when she asks like, oh, why don't you just kill us? It was like, you gotta think of the entertainment value. It's like, they're so sadistic, and the movie is just like, yeah, very sadistic, because it's putting
Yeah,
the
it's because
audience
they
in
haven't
the
reached the
place.
theatrical runtime
Yeah.
mark
Well,
yet.
it's putting the audience in the place of the killers. Why are you enjoying watching this? Is it because you're fucked up as a kid? No. It's just because you like watching home invasion movies. You like watching horror and awful things happen to people. Uh, and then, you know, when the violence is turned on the killers, he just fucking rewinds. Be like, nope, you don't get to have, like, to be, you know, horrified by the violence in the entire film and then have the catharsis of that same violence being used against the killers. There is no happy ending. And they just gotta do it
Yeah,
to more people. It's just like that never ending cycle of seeing people suffer. It's so interesting. It is a very interesting movie.
it's a movie that like gets every single cliche like that you think is going to happen, like, oh yeah, the person, like, the person's going to get help, and then the cops will save the day or whatever, or the kid will survive at the end of the movie, and
Well, it's kind
they take
of
all
what
those.
I absolutely love so fucking much is the fact that they they kill the kid first. Like in a movie like this, you'd
Yeah.
expect the kid
Oh
to be
yeah.
the survivor. The kid somehow finds a way to
Or at least to
survive.
die last and everything. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't expect the kid to die. Killing kids in movies like this is like very
It
unexpected. And then
it's
he dies first, and then so
it's
like they said,
controversial.
like it's fucking it's fucking hilarious. Like he says like, "Oh, well, now they're spent. They're not gonna have the energy to keep fighting us. So, we lost our entertainment value." So they just leave and they return once they see that she's left the house because, oh, now we can have fun. It's
Yeah,
really
it's
interesting.
yeah, it is, and I mean, I knew it was gonna be kind of fucked up when they like killed the dog and everything. I mean that again, it's the taking those cliches from like modern cinema and then just like twisting them on their head. It's a movie that is like, I mean, from the interviews that the director gave and like just statements in general, the movie is supposed to make you annoyed and mad. Like the whole thing of like him rewinding the TV remote. I mean, it's like, it's giving the audience the same power where you could just rewind it back to the beginning of the movie where the family is happy and just turn it off there.
Hmm.
But you won't because
Because you
because
want to
like
see them
it,
suffer. That's how you get your entertainment. Yeah.
well, it's like the best way to describe this movie is kind of like a car crash, like just watching a car crash happen in real time, where it's so horrific and horrible that you can't help but look away because I I don't like I can get engaged with movies, but I don't often, I am extremely invested all the way throughout. And I noticed for both movies, um I was very invested, like I was locked in uh to the screen. Like I did not feel a single ounce of runtime. I think the both movies are very perfectly paced.
Mm.
Um but because like usually there's like some moments where I'm like, this feels a bit too long for me, but that's probably just my my brain like not being like stimulated enough because everyone has monkey brain. But for me, I was like, yeah, throughout the entire, like, every minute, like, I feel like was very well utilized. uh and I honestly don't know what I would change to make the pacing better. It's honestly perfect. I guess my favorite part. Well, I've lost track of my thoughts, but I will say that this movie is fantastic. I had no way of knowing where it was going to go.
Hmm.
I kind of had an idea halfway through though, because they kind of have the whole meta commentary of
Yeah.
it, like the literal meta commentary of it by
Yeah,
having the
literally
killer speak
breaking
to you.
the fourth wall. Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah, yeah, and literally just calling out the audience, saying that basically calling you fucked up for like watching it. And I think it's interesting because the yeah, both movies are shot for shot remakes. They're like both are the same, and it's kind of interesting because like if if one of the movies had come out, like for example the 2007 remake, I would have said like that the acting is amazing, like the acting is like like really good. But then you compare it to like the 1997 version, and it's just like, well, the acting is also really good and amazing.
Yeah,
I would actually say that the acting for the 1997 version is better.
me too.
Um, but it's kind of hard to say that because I could see I could see the perspective be made that both movies, like both versions of the movie, are just as good as the other. Like there's not really like I mean, I guess there is a clearly defined um version of which one's better, but
Mm,
I mean, I can see an argument be made to
yeah.
what acting is better. It's also the same thing for like if someone says the movie is bad, because it's one of those things where, if you think the movie is bad, then that, that's completely valid. But if you also think it's good, then that's also completely valid. There's like both arguments get to be made, and both arguments are very valid because I mean, the whole point of it is to make you mad and to,
Well, it's a movie that is
the
saying don't watch this throughout the entire runtime, even though you keep watching. So it's,
yeah.
if you turn off the movie in the first 5 minutes, you've done what Haneke wanted you to do. So good job.
Yeah, it is kind of just playing into the game of the game, ha ha ha, of what like the movie is trying to play, which is
Mm.
just, if you hate the movie, then that's kind of the point. But if you like the movie, I mean, that's kind of the point, I guess. He kind of doesn't want you to like the movie at the end of the day, because if he's like, yeah, if you like the movie, then I've kind of failed at my job. Jokes on Mike Haneke, because I'm a twisted fuck, I guess. Um, no, it's just because I've seen like a lot of brutal shit in media that this was mainly just surprising to me. I was like, oh shit, we're doing this now. I I think like that the only differences I could really point out in the movie is like a couple of different scenes. Like for example,
I mean, there's
the guy
like
coming out of the lake.
basically no difference except the scene where they get the phone to work again, and by that point it's a flip phone and
Mm,
not like a landline like it is in the original. And
yeah.
they call the police, but in the original they don't call the police because they say like, "What's the number?" I don't know how it works in Germany, but in America, obviously, it's just 911. So in the original, they
Yeah.
called their friend, but it works functionally the same. The plot doesn't change, and I think that's the only scene that's actually different. The rest is like
I mean,
there are a few like differences in location, especially outside. But like even the interior is exactly the same set. It's just painted a little brighter in the new version.
yeah, I think like there's I guess the other difference is the guy coming out of the lake to chase the kid. Like in the original, that's like more of a pronounced point, whereas like he just kind of appears in the 2007 remake. Like he
Yeah, I
just
guess you're right. They have an extra shot in the original.
yeah. I only like remember that because I remember when he came out of the lake, I remember that being kind of a little bit terrifying. Whereas in the '07 remake, I didn't. I was it was scary, but it was not as scary. Where I was like, oh, that's kind of that kind of sent a little bit of a little bit of a chill down my spine, a little bit of a you know made me a little bit scared. I I I would say for the most part, this movie is more intense than scary. I don't think you really this movie does is not gonna jump scare you, because I
No,
was
yeah.
there's a couple moments where I was like, are they gonna jump scare me? Are they gonna do something to try and scare me? But no, they I think that the movie is more scary when movies are more scary when they don't try to jump scare you, and this is definitely an example of that, because throughout the entire section of the kid being in the house and like the neighbor's house and finding out they've been killed, um the it's really disturbing because he finds out the kid is dead and the killer's after him. I I find it interesting as well because it's a lot more darker than it is in the original. If you look at the remake, like the scenes are a lot more darker, and I have no idea if that's intentional or not. Um, to give a sense of sensory deprivation, because the Haneke-san, he seems like a kind of guy who his filmmaking is very intentional. So I'm not entirely sure if like the darker scenes or the outside scenes were meant to be darker to you know give a sense of kind of more helplessness, where
Mm.
you can't really exactly see much of what's going on. Um,
It is
I
such
mean,
an
speaking of which,
interesting movie. In the sense of like it is baiting the audience with the idea of hope, to be like, you know how,
Yeah.
these types of movies, they always, there's always hope for the victims, they're gonna escape this, but they're all but the movie's just like, nope, no hope at all. It's like, fuck you. Like, oh, you see, you called the police, maybe they heard it. It's like, nope. And they're gonna keep doing it to other families. It's gonna be the same shit. It's kind of, I don't know. It is an interesting movie. It's just like I was gonna say, oh, it's kind of great, but I don't know if it's great. It's just interesting because I hate that
I
word.
wouldn't. Yeah. I
I hate the word interesting because it genuinely can mean anything and nothing, because it's like
Yeah. It's a
so
nothing statement.
non-committal. But this movie is like hard to say like, oh, it's great, because the movie doesn't want you to enjoy it. So it knows you
Yeah.
will, but it doesn't want you to. So yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to really describe this movie because I'm not gonna go out and say to my friends, "Hey, have you seen the Funny Games movie?" It's there'll be
Very
fun, there'll be
fun.
games,
Yeah, very fun.
there'll be crying. But like I wouldn't, yeah, I wouldn't say that this is a movie that you wouldn't like it. I wouldn't say you would enjoy watching it. I would say, I don't know, how do I say this without sounding the most pretentious person on earth? I would say from like looking at it from a filmmaking perspective, it is very it is very interesting to watch because like I mean there's that whole 10-minute oneer that they just pull out of nowhere. And I mean that I did not feel that. I thought it was originally a 5-minute oneer in both versions because I did not feel the runtime of it, because I was just kind of in the moment with them, where the Formula One, I mean it was Formula One, right? I believe it was Formula One.
Yeah, it
Anyway,
was. Actually, maybe been
yeah,
NASCAR, but
just
regardless, it was the fucking racing thing.
yeah,
It was
I'm not
such
very good with my racing programs.
it was such a fucking funny moment, because she just goes to turn off the fucking the TV.
Yeah, yeah, I kind of like
Well, I like the moment
I
because
know that
I'm just like, it felt so real, and I love that the
yeah.
movie is like, it took its time. It just let her be shocked for a few minutes, like she's just sitting there.
Yeah, yeah, just trying to process what's happening,
Yeah, and then
and that
she
because
gets up,
it's
turns
such a
off the
shocking moment.
TV, tries to free herself, goes to get a fucking knife, and then the husband starts wailing. Which, by the way, the wailing, sobbing from the original was like heart wrenching, and I was sad that the crying in the new one was like much more subdued from Tim Roth. It wasn't bad, but like the wailing really hit hard. It was like, Jesus Christ, because it's like, in a movie like this, you expect the kid to survive and for there to be like no moment to grieve. It's always like action packed. So when something like this happens and the killers just leave, you're like, wait, what? Like, they're just left to mourn and feel the loss of their son. Like, it's devastating. And the movie's just trying to make you feel like, yeah, this is what these people are being put through, and you enjoy it, don't you? And he's making a 10-minute oneer to show, hey, enjoying this is bad. Because it's showing
Yeah,
like
because
the actual real impact, and he's making it super slow paced and a oneer to show like something
yeah,
more
it's super,
realistic. Yeah.
yeah, it's super dragged out to the point where it's like, well, now's your chance. You can leave if you
Yeah.
want to. It's not gonna get any better from here. Um, because it's that whole thing of like the bet of like we bet you're gonna be dead by like 9 a.m. tomorrow. Um, there's like a whole interesting philosophical argument as well that the killers get into when they're killing the the wife,
And yeah.
and on, yeah. And it's basically just reality and fiction, and I mean it basically describes the entire movie of
Well, oh, I
you
love
know
how he says it, like, but it's real, right? If it happened in a movie, it's real.
yeah,
Because they
yeah,
recorded it. It's
exactly,
just, that was like such a, like, looking at the camera and be like, you enjoyed this real fucking suffering, don't you? Because it is kind of like, in a
yeah,
sense, yeah, people find entertainment from like these actors, because they're not just pretending to be destroyed. These people have to draw from something in their life to be able to perform this way. So you're enjoying their actual
Yeah,
suffering. You're just saying it's like, no, it's a performance. It's fine. It's really interesting.
yeah, yeah. It is. I'm really interested by how they draw from it, and I mean, one thing I will say, and I pointed this out to you because it's such a random thing to notice, is that like the person who plays fucking Betty, it plays Fred's mother in the Fred movie.
Oh
And I
yeah,
only
you
noticed
mentioned that.
because because I like I don't because the Fred movie was something I used to watch a lot because I thought it was just like such a fucking batshit insane movie. So like so like seeing Fred's mother, this abusive like alcoholic who's, supposedly like it's supposedly implied that Fred is like a prostitute baby kind of. Seeing her in funny games, if she's normal, I couldn't stop myself from laughing from like a solid 2 minutes straight. uh it was honestly amazing, but I mean that has more to do with me rather than the movie, because it's not their fault. It's not Mike Haneke's fault that he didn't know that the first movie would come out a couple years later. um but no, I think that like both performances are very well done. They're very uh well shot. I think that again, like you said, Tim Roth's performance, while it is more subdued, I think, there is value in both performances. I was very surprised to see uh Naomi Watts because I just seen her in another movie beforehand, so I was very surprised to see her in this one.
Well, I
But
think it's very interesting, right? She's been in two horror movie remakes of German. She's been in two remakes of German horror movies that I like very much. I like, not that I like the remakes, that I like the original very much. I have not seen the remake, but she's been in Goodnight Mommy as well, which is a phenomenal movie. The original, I've not seen the remake, but maybe that's just her thing.
I mean, I mean, I was very surprised to see her because I'm never gonna escape this, but I saw her from Twin Peaks, and then she's also in Mulholland Drive. She's in a lot of
She's in a
Lynch
lot of
films
Lynch,
actually.
yeah.
Yeah, so I was like watching. I was like, holy shit, it's Naomi Watts, um, which is quite crazy. But yeah, I think she did a really good job in that. In fact, I think she's probably the best actor in the remake. Um, it's kind of hard to define which one's the best at acting, but they're both quite good. I I'm not exactly sure what to. I guess it's very hard to talk about this movie because it's like you said, like usually this kind of movie I kind of fucking hate because it's usually one of those things of like, yeah, we want to really make the audience mad with this one. We really want to fuck them up and just traumatize them to hell. But it's a lot different from Haneke's perspective, because he actually has kind of a purpose to it because I believe from what I've read up, he's like a Holocaust survivor, isn't he? Um, I'm not entirely sure. Don't quote me on that, but I mean he's had some sort of like very emotional trauma um that's had something to do with his experience of making films, and I mean they're all kind of commentaries on some point of the audience. Um, but I think that Funny Games also does the whole make the audience mad thing in a very creative way, because it does literally implement the experience of the film, um you know they into a real life situation. It actively wants you to like pause or rewind or whatever that, I mean, it must be, it must have been so interesting to see this in a cinema, because it feels like it was more meant to be viewed on like a home screen, you know, like normal TV, where, you know, you have the full power. I can't imagine watching this in a cinema because you don't have the power to turn it off or anything, or to rewind back to the beginning, or, you know, anything like that. You only have the power to leave, which, I mean, I can definitely see why this film was so received in such a mixed way,
Hmm.
because, I
It's
mean, if
not
you're
meant
looking
to
for
be
any other
enjoyed,
name,
so
yeah, yeah, if
it
you're
is
looking for any
such a
other name,
like a cinephile movie. You know what I mean? Like certain movies that only exist or
yeah,
they exist, and I'm like, only cinephiles could actually like this. Um, and I mean,
yeah.
it won awards and everything, but that's basically the thing because it's like I don't see anyone watching this film to be entertained. The reason film like people who are into film would watch this film is because it's interesting to talk about. I would not expect anyone to be like, "Man, that's such a fun movie," or "That's such an entertaining watch." It's such a great horror movie because it's not any of those things. It's just interesting. It's just an interesting discussion to have and that the movie brings up. But it's not anything that it's like, I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird movie. I've not seen movies like this that are just like
I mean, it's
trying
a
to like
very,
poke the audience and be like, "Oh, you fuck." So yeah.
I mean, it's a very I do like these type of movies that are purely nihilistic. It's like, I mean, No Country for Old Men is another example I give, because the, you know, the spoilers, the main protagonist is killed halfway through the movie, or a good, like, you know, 2/3 into the movie, and the rest of the film is focused, you know, on the aftermath. The whole point of, like, nobody wins except for the villains at the end of the day, and it is meant to just fucking piss you off and depress you, because it's just like such a hopeless, you know, film. It's the same as this one, where the movie is so hopeless, and every time you get an ounce of hope, because, you know, there's always moments of hope in the movie. You know, they go to, like, the kid is about to run away down the driveway, but he, like, you know, he thinks differently, so he goes, you know, to the neighbor's house. um but, you know, the neighbors, unsurprisingly, are dead, because I mean, the kid kind of, it's so interesting, like, a moment of acting, because Tim Roth's character, I mean, both characters are like, well, what do you think will happen when your parent, like, you know, these people will come down here and they find out that you've done this to us, and that he that they just give him a look, kind of, and he's just like, oh yeah, you probably you probably fucking killed them as well. But the kid doesn't know that, because he doesn't know, like, you know, any real social conventions, or, like, you know, subtlety, because he's a fucking child.
Hmm.
Um, so he that he doesn't understand that silence. So he goes to the neighbor's house, expecting to, you know, telling them, without the, like, you know, knowing that subtlety of, like, oh, you've killed them. And he just finds out himself that they're fucking dead. And I love the gratuitiveness, because, like, you know, it's the beginning, middle, and end start off with, like, the same song, um and it's all broken up very like, it's all moments are interrupted in a very gratuitous way. Like, you know, it starts off with the family, um it starts off with the family, you know, enjoying a nice peaceful car ride, and then all of a sudden, a fucking very loud, like, punk, rock music comes in. I wouldn't say it's metal. I don't
It
think
is
it's really
metal.
metal.
It is metal.
Is it? Fuck, I can't tell. I can't tell the difference. I listen to both so much. But like, this really loud metal music, and then halfway through it's done again at the end of the movie. It's kind of like, it's kind of meant to annoy you a little bit, and kind of, like, scare you, I guess. It's very interesting. Um, but yeah, like, the amount of, like, moments where the subtlety, like, the quiet moments are just immediately broken up. Like, you do not have a moment of peace in this movie. And I mean, originally I was gonna have an issue with like, oh, I guess I wish the characters were a little more developed before that we start. But the entire point of the movie is that it's just it's supposed to be a suburban family who gets killed. Like it doesn't matter what you know about them. That's not what matters. Well, because like the whole point of it is that they do it to literally everyone else. We are just go looking into the viewers. I mean, the killers routine of just killing these families over and over again. We're not supposed to we know as much about them as we do as the killers do, and that's kind of the point because, you know, in a way we are kind of we are kind of like the killers because, you know, we're shown from a lot of it is from their perspectives at points, and they do talk to us, the audience. It's supposed to be like, you know, very guilt trippy and everything. um so yeah, I do like that kind of whole thing of like, you know, you don't get to know like who these people are, you don't get to know like what they do. um you know, they're just another family to the killers, and they're at the end of the movie you realize that they're just another family to them. uh which I find to be very very cool. I don't know, I like the way this movie is shot as well. The
Yeah.
everything in terms of like cinematography and everything is really good, especially like when they do really long takes. There's a lot of just long takes throughout the movie, and it's always to heighten the tension of usually, like, you know, in horror movies they'll do like quick cuts and everything to like emphasize tension, but here it's just a like they usually drag it for a very long time before getting to that, you know, getting to that point. And I personally I personally prefer that way more. I honestly I don't really know. Like I gave both movies a 9 on Letterbox, like a or 4.5 if we're going by Letterbox standards. But honestly, I like if I were to like properly rate these movies, I'd probably give them no score because I don't know what to rate them.
Hmm.
Um, like
Yeah. I mean, I
I
give it an 8 out of 10 because in my mind it's kind of like it is a very well made movie in every aspect. At the same time, it is a movie that doesn't want you to enjoy it. It's just like it's a well made movie, raises interesting questions, but it is not an entertaining movie, and it is not like it is not talking about the human condition in any way that is like too meaningful or like trying to tell a story with a it's just like asking you in the face, do you enjoy watching people suffer? Yes, you do.
yeah,
Basically it. The movie's like not that deep, even though it raises an interesting conversation. And I think it does so really well. So I don't know.
yeah, I mean, honestly, I have no real like issues with it. So I guess like if I was rating this as a normal movie, I'd probably give it like a 9 or a 10. But like I wouldn't rate this at all. I mean, to be honest, I'll probably change my score on Letterbox to like no score because like honestly there is no proper way to like rate
Rate
this
this
in my
movie, yeah.
opinion, because it's not really a movie that's supposed to be, I guess, rated on a scale of 1 to 10. It's
It's
like
not
more
even
or less
supposed to be
supposed to be,
enjoyed.
yeah, it's not even supposed to be enjoyed. And I mean, I don't see myself. I mean, I probably will rewatch it in future because I do like a good home invasion. Not really supposed to be, you know, enjoyed, and I'm not really looking forward to rewatching it. It'll probably be like a couple years from now before I give it another watch. Um, Especially, it's kind of a film that's meant to be almost like shrouded in obscurity a little bit, because the whole point of it is that like not many people are supposed to talk about, because, you know, the whole point is that you're not supposed to like it.
Yeah.
um yeah, so I don't know, I find this one very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't really know. It's the thing of like there's so much to cover, but there's also not much to cover at all, because I think we've covered like a good chunk, or a good amount of the movie. I'm not exactly sure what else there is to cover. Um, because we've covered like a good amount, I'd say. Unless there's anything else that you want to add.
I don't think so. I think we've covered it fairly well. It's,
Yeah,
it's a good movie. It's a well-made movie. Both.
I mean,
Um,
you can kind of like officially, yeah, you can kind of say like it's well made. It is,
yeah.
it is a well made
Oh,
movie.
on every
Um,
technical level, it's phenomenal. It's really,
yeah,
it raises interesting questions. I like what it does. I mean, everything, you know, the way I like, right, to think about movies is how well does it achieve like its message. How, and I think it does it perfectly. I think everything in the film works in, service of that. Um I think it is like a very like basically flawless movie for the point it's trying to make. I'm just not as certain that it's like making something a point that is like too grand or important or anything like that, because even though I understand the point he's making about watching people suffer and everything, uh, I don't think it's sadistic for people to like just enjoy watching, fucking horror films and films where people suffer, because it's interesting and people should be challenged in a way to see things like that. I think it is more. There is more to it. I understand his point though, and I could agree with it on some level, but yeah, I don't know.
yeah, yeah, I agree with that. Um, yeah, I guess that's everything there is to cover. Oh, I hope you'll enjoy it. It's such a very interesting discussion because
Yeah.
there's like yeah, there's a lot to say, but not much to say at all, which I suppose is also what the film is going for. Like it's oh, hello, Darwin.
Oh, you could hear him? He's
Hello,
Jesus
Darwin
Christ, he's behind the
again.
fucking door. How could you hear him? That's actually
I'm
insane.
just that guy.
Okay, hold
I'm
on.
just that
Hold on. I'm
guy.
gonna get him so chat can say goodbye to him. Give me one sec.
Yeah, if everyone say goodbye, Darwin. Otherwise, bad things will happen. I'll delay the Andor video by another week.
Hold on, he's in my
I
room.
don't know
Let
what.
me get him. Oh, hey, buddy. See, I would turn on my webcam, but I'm wearing like PJs, so I won't. But hey, buddy, say hi to chat.
Hey,
Yeah. Hey, darling.
hey.
I hope everyone says good night to Darwin.
He,
Isn't that right, buddy? Did you
oh,
know it was his
just
birthday 2 days ago?
oh, real happy birthday, Darwin. Keep him away from Mike Konecki, because you know, just gonna fucking brutalize the cat.
All right.
But
Well, now that
yeah.
Darwin has said goodbye, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's it. So we shall end the stream here. We'll see you all next week where we'll be covering something very interesting.
Very interesting.
Something very different as well. Something what we haven't really done. Uh, we're
It's a
not gonna
very,
say
it's
what,
very stupid. That's why we're laughing, okay, chat? It's very
but
stupid.
yeah, but you'll see what it is when we cover it. So thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you all next week. Uh, have a good one. Bye bye,
Bye
everyone.
bye. Bye.